All right. So, good morning, everybody. We're going to start seated, and hopefully, you have a couple of blocks and maybe a strap. And if you happen to have a blanket or a towel or something, it's going to be mostly for cushioning. So, you may or may not need it. And I found a quote that I thought might be a neat way to start our class today. So, sit well and sit in a position that feels good for you. Maybe bring the shoulders back. Little Buddha guy looks a little crooked there. It's so OCD sometimes. And then just, kind of feel yourself snuggle into your mat. And maybe if you always sit the same way with the same leg in front, maybe switch that out because we are creatures of habit and we can create some imbalances if we always do the same thing the same way. So see how that feels. And if it's horrible, then go back the other way, or maybe just kind of sit and settle in there. And I don't know who wrote this quote. I couldn't find the author of it, but I thought it was really interesting. And it says, yoga is not a workout, it is a work in. And this is the point of spiritual practice, to make us teachable, to open up our hearts and focus our awareness so that we can know what we already know and be who we already are. And I thought that was a really neat quote because I thought about how yoga makes us teachable, right? It opens us up to possibilities and to opportunities that we might not think about otherwise, whether it's physical or emotional or mental or spiritual. So, with that, maybe close the eyes and start to tap into your breath and feel the flow in and back out again. And as you breathe in, imagine that you are filling a cup all the way to the top. So as you take that deep breath in, imagine filling the cup. And then exhale, just let it go. As you inhale, fill that cup. And as you exhale, let it go. And maybe continue that visual as you breathe, imagining that you are filling this cup all the way to the brim, and maybe there's a little spout at the bottom that as you exhale, you really go all the way back down to the bottom as you empty anything that you don't need here. As you breathe in, you feel the lungs expand, you feel the chest open, the heart filling with oxygen and blood. As you exhale, all of that goes out to the body to feed it. And then maybe just ponder for a moment this sense of balance in your life. How much of the cup is full in your life and how much of it is empty? And I know that is subject to lots of different interpretations, but take it as your own. How does it sound or feel to you as you breathe in? Where is your balance? Do we have enough, but not too much? Do we let go of what we don't need, or do we hang on? Are we filling our own reserves before we give out to others? Are we always draining? All kinds of ways to use this little metaphor here. And if yoga is not a workout, but a work in, we take the time to just ponder what it is for us, even if we do get a workout in the process. Good. Just two more here, visualizing that cup filling up all the way to the brim, opening up those lungs. Exhaling softly, letting it all go. And then when you're done with that second breath, open the eyes. Maybe roll your shoulders here a little bit. And then inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale your right hand to the floor. Your left arm reaches over and just stretch it out. And then take it up. Inhale. Exhale, left hand down. Right arm reaches over. Good. Take it up. Exhale, stretch. Good. Take it up. Inhale, release on that exhale. And last one, inhale, the right hand goes down, the left arm stays up. Hold the pose, roll that right shoulder back and down, maybe soften the elbow, but press into the hand. Check your head, your neck. Is it in alignment? Are you doing something funky with your head that doesn't really feel good, right? And then just notice. So press the ribs out on the left side, make a little bit more of a C curve, and then squeeze them back in as the arm reaches to the ceiling. Good. Two more here. Just stretch out side body and release, squeeze them in. A little bit of side work here. And last one, stretch. And then squeeze them in, take the other arm up, go to the other side, stretch over to the left, roll the left shoulder down, check your head, neck, make sure it feels good, and then reach the right side ribs out and squeeze them in. Good, two more. Reach them out and squeeze them in. Good, one more here. Reach and make a big C and squeeze them in and take both arms up. Exhale, both hands down and roll it out. Let's go straight legs right away. Shake them out. Bend your right leg. Step over your left leg. Plant the left leg. Nice energy through that leg. And then just wrap both arms around that leg, that right leg, and lift up really tall. And as you do so, imagine, right, that cup filling up. So we're lengthening through the front of the body. And as we exhale, we're lengthening down the back of the body. Been playing with that concept for a few weeks now. And just notice, how does it feel? And maybe you wiggle your shoulders a little and feel your side body a little bit, right? So as you inhale, lengthen even more. As you exhale, go ahead and twist, easy twist to the right. So your left arm stays wrapped around the knee and you're just checking out maybe your side of your room, maybe the back of your room. What do you see with your eyes? Good. As you inhale, make it even longer, right? Tailbone goes down, crown of the head reaches up. Exhale, find that twist. Good. And then take it center. Inhale, both arms up. Hold the arms up. Release your legs. Stretch it out in front of you. Lift even taller. Let the hands come down. Dandasana pose. Staff pose. Breathe here. Open the shoulders. Find your breath. And breathe. You got it. Good. Release that Dandasana, that staff pose. Bend your left leg, step it over, wrap both arms around, lift really tall. So that there's a mosquito in here. I have mosquito Tourette's. I'm like, Sorry about that. So lift up really tall, plant that leg. Good. And then maybe shimmy just a little, maybe roll the shoulders a little bit. You know, the interesting thing is it's all connected. We know that, right? So we think we have a hip pain and it's not just here. What else is kind of moving along the way, moving out of the way to create that imbalance? Good, breathe. And then inhale, lift up. Exhale, twist, wrap your right arm around and take the left arm behind. And just feel that again as you inhale, fill up the cup. As you exhale, ground down through the tailbone. And find your pose here. Just breathe. Good. One more big deep inhale. Exhale, let it go. And inhale, take the arms up. Release that leg, press it out in front of you. Find Dandasana again. The feet are pointing straight up toward the ceiling. And then squeeze your legs together. Take the arms out to the side. So tons of activity here. Really want you to try to squeeze those legs together and then bring the hands together. Roll the shoulders back, squeeze the hands. So everything's squeezing into the middle. Just breathe. Good. So a little bit tricky here, and it depends on your surface. As you open the arms, I want you to open the legs. Doesn't have to be wide. If you're kind of moving through carpet or something, just take them where you can. And see if you can squeeze them in. Bring them all in. Good. Open them up. And squeeze them in. Good. One more. Open. And squeeze them in. Good. Release the hands. Keep the legs. Dandasana. Fire them back up. Squeeze them towards center. Lift one leg. I don't care which one right now. Whew. Just breathe. I know it. And then turn your toes out to the side and feel that, right? That's a big old stretch work for the quadricep. And then turn the toes back up and release it down. Good. Lift the other leg. Hold for a moment. Remember to engage the belly. Keep the chest lifted. Turn it out to the side. See how that feels. See how far the toes go, right? Everybody's different depending on how your hips are made. Turn the toes up and release. Good. Maybe you don't need the hands this time. Maybe the hands come to your heart. Lift your other leg. Turn it out to the side. Whoo. Breathe, feel that leg, right? Feel the muscles. Turn the toes up and release. Good. And again, take that other foot, lift up. Turn them out to the side. Push down through the other leg. Turn them back up. Whew, and release. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, arms out to the sides. Slide the legs open. Let your hands come to the floor. Maybe lift your hips a little bit, get that flesh out from your sit bones. And notice a pose we don't do a whole lot, wide leg forward fold. Just breathe. Notice we're not folding, right? We just got the wide leg part. So in these poses, it's really challenging for me to fold forward without rounding into my low back. And we don't really want to do that. So maybe we take a block, maybe we take 2 blocks, maybe we don't use any right now. But we fire up the legs, the hands go to the blocks or to the floor. And then feel the chest lift up, feel the tailbone reach down, and just check out, how's that feeling for you? Some of you I know can come ploop, flat right down to the floor. I'm not one of those, never have been one of those. Can't do it, right? So that doesn't make this pose any more or less because you're sitting straight up or you're partially forward or all the way forward. Where do you feel it in your body? And then imagine that somebody's just kind of pulling the sit bones back to, behind you as the pelvis tilts forward, right? As the torso comes forward. If it's not happening for you in any way, I want you to put a nice bend in the knees. And then maybe you come a little bit further forward and you just put your elbows on your blocks and they can be up nice and high. Right. So I had an interesting question the other day on email, and the basis of the question was, what is the goal of the pose, a particular pose? And I think the first goal is that it feels okay in your body, right? Whatever it is that we're doing. And then if you are feeling the part of the body targeted, that's probably another goal. The goal is never that I put my chest on the floor, that I reach my toes, or anything like that. It is, where is it in your body? So it goes right back to that quote, right? Yoga is not a workout, but a work in. If I can tap in and go, oh, yeah, for me, I'm getting a nice sweet stretch through the inner thighs, right? A little bit in my hamstrings. There's no irritation in my back. I'm doing the pose. Good. And challenge of these poses is to hold them for a little while and let the body work. Now, if you have your feet flexed like I have for the last couple of minutes, I want you to just release it and then let your toes turn out to the sides any amount. So you're going to feel a shift in where that pose affects the legs. Just notice that, right? It's all good. And then take the toes back up to center and then roll them out to the sides again and take them up to center. Good. If you are forward at all, go ahead and lift up. Just set your blocks aside and shimmy those legs back to center. Bend your knees. Whoo, and let that go. And then one more here. I want you to just take the feet into Baddha Konasana, but again, a nice easy one. So you don't bring them way up into the groin. Just keep them out a little bit. If your knees are really high up off the floor, go ahead and cushion them, right? With your blocks, however high you need to go. And then notice once again, how does this feel? If you press the feet together, does that change anything? Is your lower back rounding? A lot of times with lower back rounding, we just need to get the hips up higher. So maybe you're sitting on your blanket or something like that. But otherwise, just kind of notice, how does that feel as we press out through the legs, as we lift the spine, as we fill the cup up, and then let it go back down. Good. And then if you can, maybe the hands come behind and you just bring them up and open them up. Good. Bring them up and open. Yep. Bring them up. Just bring in your inner butterfly. Just breathe. You're just floating through space. Good. Exhale. Bring them up. And let them come down. Good. So if you were there and you were good, that's awesome. See if you can take your hands off the floor and then bring them up. You're just like scrunched up and open. And bring them up and open. Good. One more here. Just bring them up and open. Inner thighs here. Good. Bring them up. Slide your feet best you can out. Open everything up. Whoo, and bring it all together. Good. You got the idea now. Bring the feet up. Open up. Bring them in. Slide them out. Open up. Good. Bring them in. We got 3 left. Slide them up. No hands, right? Bring them in. Slide them down. And open. Need to put some grease on these heels, right? And up. Open. Good. Last one. Bring those knees up. Straighten the legs out. Open up the arms. Take them in. Don't you feel like a little Jack LaLanne or something? Bring them up and open up. Maybe you hold your feet, your ankles. Don't ever press down on the knees. Just lift up. And then draw those knees together. Whew. And straighten the legs. And just shake out those ankles. All right, good. Beautiful, groovy. Put your blocks right to the front of your mat. And let's come up to table pose. You may or may not want your blanket under your knees at this point. We'll be here for a little bit. So focus today is going to try to be around this hip glute area and just being pretty gentle about it. So start in a nice table pose. Press your right foot back. We have been playing with this one for a little bit. Tone the belly in enough so that the hips level out. Lift your foot and point your toes. Another thing we don't do a lot in yoga is point toes, right? We're always flexing, but we don't point. But notice when you point, maybe the glute gets a little bit more active. So flex and point. Good. And flex and point. One more, flex, point, and then see how much that knee can be relatively straight. And then lift the leg just a little bit, flex your foot, turn those toes out to the side. And then turn them down. Tap your toes, lift up, turn and flex, turn them back down and tap. Good. 3 more. Lift up, flex your foot, turn your hip, turn it back down, tap down. 2 more. Lift up, turn and flex, point and lower. Last one. Lift. All you're doing is turning that leg and down and tap and release. Good. For you, maybe you sit back on those toes if you can. Oh, right. Flex out the backs of the feet. Not everybody's going to be able to do that. Maybe you're on table pose, but you got the toes flipped under to get some flexibility there. Roll the shoulders back, shake out your wrists. You can do this, by the way, on your elbows if your wrists are really chatty today. But otherwise, let's come on back. Press into the hands, press your left leg back, lift the leg, and then find yourself settled, right? Low belly tones in, hips level out, point your toes. And just point and feel that difference. And then point and flex right here. Just point and flex. Your toes are pointing straight down to the floor. Yep, finding your breath. And breathe. And then point your toes, tap down, lift up, turn the toes out to the side. Point the toes back down and tap. Good, lift up, flex and turn, release and point down. Good, 3 more, lift, flex and turn it, release it and tap, still staying in those glutes, and turn, and release down. Last one here. Lift up. Turn them out to the side. Turn them back. Tap it down and release. Nice job, everybody. Maybe you sit back for just a second. Roll it out. Shake it out. Good. Be mindful, anything like this that really irritates, just don't do it, right? Find another way to take care of your body. So press the right leg back, tone the belly in, lift the leg, flex the foot, turn the hip out, and then slide that leg out and drop it down to the floor. Ha ha, right? Lift up, slide it, point, and tap. We're just doing 3 of these. Lift up, flex, turn it, roll it out toward the hip, drop it down, lift it up, point it back, and tap. 1 more, lift up, flex, turn, slide, down, lift up, slide, point, completely release. Good. Turn yourself around if you need the room. Thank you all. Or get ready for the other side. You can do soft fists here, by the way, as well. So again, if the wrists are chatty, just switch it out. So left leg goes back, belly tones in, make sure your knees or hips width apart, lift your toes, turn it out to the side, flex, reach it to the side, drop that foot down. Lift up any amount, slide, point, and tap. 2 more, lift up, flex and turn, down to the floor, lift up, woo, and tap. These are great fun, aren't they? Woo, flex, turn, down, lift, out, and release it. Oh, good. Shake it out, shake it out. Shake, 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 shake. And breathe. Got one more here. I know. See what you signed up for? This is why I don't tell you ahead of time. All right, back to table where this is our last one here. So gate pose is an awesome pose, right? We're warming up to that. I want you to press your right leg back. Tone your belly in, lift your leg, point your toes. Pause, really feel your glute and hip muscles working. And then flex your foot, turn the leg out to the side. It's as if your hips are starting to point toward the right. And then slide it out, lower the foot down. This time you're gonna plant your foot, walk your hands back toward your hips and come on up. Right, so gate pose, I'm just gonna turn to the side in case you need to see that. Ideally, left hip, left knee pretty straight up and down. Your right foot is either pointed straight out or some level of sideways, depends on your ankle. The big thing here is watching this outer knee. So keep that energy in the leg. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, slide your right hand down. Whew. Reach your left arm over. And just breathe. This is really a glorious stretch here. It just feels so good. And the big thing is to watch the pressure of your right hand around this knee. You would never want to put a lot of weight here. So your hand could be higher, it can be lower, or it can just make a little butterfly cage, right, of fingertips, but never pressing down strongly on the knee. Good. Inhale, both arms up. Take the left hand, slide it either to your hip or down your leg and come the other way. Really ground your right foot. Gate pose, everybody. Breathe. If you're too low and you feel out of control, you come up, come up, come up, even to the point of pressing hand into hip. Good. Breathe, breathe. And come on up. Good. We're coming out. So we're doing the same way coming out. You're going to drop those hands. Let me turn to the side. Walk the hands back out under shoulders. Lift the leg. Whoo. Bring it back and release it down. Nice job, everybody. And let's just go to the other side. Get it done. Good. Your left leg is back. The belly tones in. Lift the leg. Point the toes. Just feel that. Breathe. Feel that activation of the glute. Good. Then flex the foot. Turn the hip out to the side. Roll that left leg out to the side. Drop the foot. Ideally, that leg is pretty much straight out from your hip. Take the hands up. Inhale up. As you exhale, slide the left hand down your leg as you stretch the right leg over and breathe. Oh, right, just feel that side body. Maybe you even feel it in through the belly here. Nice stretch through the belly as we stretch out the psoas. Good, and then both arms up. Slide your right arm down your leg and reach the left arm over. And breathe. Belly stays toned. The leg is active. Find your breath. And inhale both up. Exhale both hands to the floor. Walk the hands back out. Tone the belly. Lift your leg. Slide it back. Turn the toes down. And release, everybody. Shake out your hips. Plant your hands and let's come right to downward facing dog. So we can stretch that out a little bit. Good, pedal the feet. Just breathe. And then take your feet wide on your mat. They're still on your mat, but they're close to the edges. And then bend your knees really deeply. And just take a look at your knees. Do they collapse in or out? Can you keep them right in front of the feet? And stretch out your front body. So with a big, deep knee bend, right, we can lift the sit bones, but then tone the belly so that we're not just arching into the low back. Press into the hands, squeeze the imaginary beach ball, and breathe. And then straighten the legs from here. Come to plank pose with wide legs. And breathe. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower your knees. Bring them back to hips width. Good. Press your right leg straight out. Press your left arm straight out and breathe. Point the toes instead of flex. Take the left arm out to the side, turn the palm down, flex your foot. And then 3 of those, a little bit of flow here. Bring the arm forward, point the toes. Bring the arm out to the side, flex your foot. Good. Bring it forward and flex, bring it out. Release that hand to the floor, release your knee to the floor, and downward facing dog. Shake it out. Maybe you walk the hands a little bit. So how we normally pedal the feet, maybe you shift into one hand and then the other hand. How's that feel, right? Woohoo! And then come to plank. And breathe. Nice long pose here. Tone the belly, squeeze it in, fire up the legs, lower your knees to the floor. And when you're ready, reach the left arm or left leg out and breathe. Take the right arm out. Find that. Point your toes. When the right arm goes out to the side, flex your foot. And reach and point. And flex inside. Good, last one. Reach and point. And flex. And release. And child's pose. So child's pose or hero pose, where you're sitting back on your feet. But take the moment here to feel the stretch in your back muscles, right? Use your breath. Just notice. All right, that's enough rest. Plant your hands, flip your toes under, press back to downward facing dog, walk in place. So actually lift one leg and then the other and walk in place. That's it. Keep it going. You're just bending one knee and then the other, but you're lifting your feet off the floor. Hold that, release, walk the hands in place, strengthening our bodies. And as you walk those hands in place, slowly walk them back, but really slowly, like little hands, little tiny steps back until you're in your forward fold. Widen your feet. Bend your knees, hands come to knees, and come all the way up to standing. And roll it out, everybody. Good, you're gonna be at the back of your mat. So from here, I want you to inhale, reach up. Exhale all the way down. Walk your hands back out. Downward facing dog. And breathe. Find that. Good. From here, weird here, right? So be mindful. Lower one elbow to the floor. And then lower the other elbow to the floor. Walk your feet out and come to plank pose. So you're plank on elbows. Press into the hands. Find your breath. Breathe. Lower your knees. Release the hips. You should be right in Sphinx pose. Just shake it out a little bit. Make sure the elbows are right underneath your shoulders. Find that. Lift up through your spine. Nice little back bend. And we're going to reverse that. So I want you to be super mindful. In fact, let's do it a little different way to start. I want you to bend, you keep your knees on the floor and come to half plank. Breathe right here. Push into your right hand and then your left hand. And then come to plank. I like that one better. Down dog. Find your breath. Walk the hands back very much on purpose. Bend your knees. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, hands to heart. Good. Last little warm up here. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, take it down. Walk your hands forward. Da, da, da. Downward facing dog. Pedal it out. Maybe walk your feet. Just walking Chloe, the dog, just walking it out. And then release. So my students in here said, who's Chloe? Chloe is Martin's dog, who I met on Zoom today. Walk out your hands. Like, who's Chloe? Good, lower one elbow. Lower the other elbow. Press into your forearms. The feet walk out to plank. Breathe. What would happen if you turn your palms up in elbow plank? What does that feel like? What happens if you turn pinky side down, right? And found your breath. That's it. Keep breathing, keep breathing. Lower knees, lower hips, Sphinx pose. Find your breath. Maybe rock side to side, stretch out your belly. Watch your low backs. Good, and then let's reverse this. So starting easy, right? Push into your knees, half plank. Push into one hand, push into your other hand. Lift your knees. Downward facing dog. Walk the hands back. Bend your knees and come up. And exhale your heart. And shake it out, everybody. Whew. Good. Roll it out, shake it out. Breathe it out. Peace it out. No. I know. Take your hands to your hips. Hey, what are you going to do, right? You're staring at a computer. All right. So fire up the legs, feel your glutes and hips active, right? And then just lean into your right leg and take your left leg out to the side so that your toe is pointing. And it might look like my leg is back behind, but it isn't. It's just pointed out to the side. And then square up the right hip. So don't let it hang out to the side there, right? Squeeze it in, fire it up, tone the belly, flex your foot, and lift your foot off the floor. And then tap your toe. And then lift and flex and tap. Good, 3 more. Lift, whoo, and point, and lift, and point. Gravity's starting to take a hold. Lift and point. And this one I want you to hold. Flex your foot, take your right hand, opposite direction. So you're in this little diagonal pose. Breathe, right? What are you feeling, everybody? Really, both legs, find your balance. Really reach that leg. Point your toes and release. And come back to standing, shake it out. You can always be near a wall space, right? Every time we're working on balance. Good, rock it out, shake it out, find mountain pose. Simply take your right toe, big toe out to the side, and then squeeze in the hip and breathe. Right, don't you feel kind of strong here? It's like, oh, right, powerful. Tone in through the belly, and when you're ready, you're gonna flex and lift, and then point and tap. Flex, lift, tap, whoo. Flex and lift, I already feel the legs, and tap. One more flex, and then tap, and then flex and hold. Find your still point, squeeze the standing leg, take the opposite arm out for balance. Breathe, you got it. Hold, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, release, and let go. And then bring the feet a little closer to hips width apart. We did this last week. I want you to isometrically press those legs out, right? They're not moving, but you're trying your best to pull those legs apart. And then really pull the heels out isometrically and say hello to your hips. Oh, right? All of this stuff being really fired up here. What we're working on, outer hips and glutes. Now give a little squeeze to the glute muscles. So you're both pulling out and pressing in. Breathe and release. Whoo, shake it, baby. Shake it, baby. One more here. I want you to pull the legs out. Pull the heels out. Whew. Squeeze the glutes a little bit. The hands are here at your heart just so you're hoping this will be over soon. Breathe. How? Does anybody not feel this? You feel this, everybody? Yeah, right? Holy moly. And release it. Good. And just roll it out, roll it out, roll it out. Come on back to the front of your mat. Have your blocks nearby. Inhale, reach up. Exhale all the way down. Shake out those hips a little bit. Bend your knees, step back, right leg. Once your right leg is back, if you can, leave that knee off the floor. If you can't, lower it down, it's okay. And then take your hands on your blocks. I have mine at the medium level. So nice bend of your front leg. Your back toes are pointed straight ahead, best you can. Want you to squeeze the legs toward each other. So scissor them in and then tap knee and lift. Tap knee and lift. So the goal here is to tap without over lifting or over moving the hips. Good, 2 more. Down and up, and then down and up. Hold. Straighten your front leg as to the point that you can. Flex your foot and breathe. So your front foot is flexed. You're pressing into your heel. Good. I want you to try to push your back foot away from you and push your front foot away from you. So you're trying to spread those legs even more. Big deep breath. Good. Bend your front knee. Lower your right knee. Simply switch sides. Working with the hips here. So you start in this nice low lunge. Flip your toes under. Lift your knee. Make sure your legs are hips width apart. Right? Noticing, lift through your torso and tap down for 5. So tap and lift, tap and lift. Yep. 3 more. Tap, go wider, Betty. Lift. There you go. Down, lift. Last one. Tap it down, lift. Really fire up your glutes. Straighten your front leg. Flex your front foot. Try to pull the legs away from each other. And breathe. Release that toe, bend your knee, tap down, switch sides. Right leg back, left leg forward. Lift your knee. Choices. 1, your hands stay on your blocks. 2, your hands come to your knees and you lift up. Your hand's gonna stay on your knee or on your thigh. This is a lot harder, so I want a lot of control here. You're gonna tap down and push up. Tap down, I know, right? Just changed everything. Tap down slow, lift up. This is 4, lift up. And 5, come halfway up. Oh, draw the belly in, lift the chest, hold just for 2 seconds. Straighten it fully. Release your hands to your blocks. Lower your knee. Switch sides. So it's interesting. Everything's always interesting. A friend of mine and I were talking, and she said, now that I've hit menopause, I've lost my butt. And I said, it's not too late. Lift your left knee. You're in your lunge. Remember, hands can stay on the blocks, right? Little by little. And I told her, I said, if you stick with it and you just do a little bit, a lot, it'll come back. You'll get those butt muscles back. You'll have a butt again. And she said, well, that's hopeful. Here we are today. All right. So either you're here or your hands are to your knee. Find your steady point. Scissor those legs together and give me a tap down for 5. That's 1 and 2. You don't have to tap all the way. 3 and 4. And 5. Come halfway up. You didn't think I'd forget, right? Move the chest up. Move the belly up. Feel the legs. and then straighten the rest of the way. Take your hands to your blocks, lower your knee, slide the other knee back. Walk your blocks forward and just stretch out a little high puppy stretch here. Big deep breath. And then press up, hands come back to your mat. Downward facing dog. Pedal it out. See how much better those legs are feeling? Right? Walk your hands back. Bend your knees, hands to knees, and come on up. Shake it out. Good. So, again, maybe you're near a little wall space, right? Something that you could tap onto if you need it. Your hands are, or you just come off your mat a little bit. Your hands are on your hips, and keep your right foot on the floor and just step your left leg back this time. So you're more or less pointed with that toe. And I'm not going to look at the computer because surely I'll fall. So I want you to point your big toe and see if you can still keep it on the floor. Squeeze your glutes, everybody. As you lift the foot, I want you to flex. As you tap down, I want you to point. Lift and flex, not going far, right? Tap down. Lift and flex, feel that. Down, lift and flex. Tap down, last one, hold, flex. Hips are level, belly is toned. And then point your toes. Breathe, breathe, breathe. Turn your toes and flex to the side. Roll that leg out to the side and lower it down. Right? So we're doing the same thing we did, sorta, when we were on our knees. Same side, 5 of these. Your foot is flexed, take it out to the side. As you point it, bring it around the back. Tap down. Lift up, flex, turn it. Bring it to the side. And lower down. Good, 3 more. Out to the side, point, rotate it back. Tap that toe down. Lift the leg, flex it. Turn the leg out to the side. Bring it to the side and come down. Last one. Take it out. Point, squeeze, tap, lift and flex. Roll it out to the side and lower it down and shake it out. Right, with everything we do, and I'm not saying you have to move this much, but as much as you can, you keep that body moving. You keep those joints greased up and lubed up, right? The less we do, the less we're going to be able to do. Doesn't mean that you overdo it, right? That balance, whole balance thing we talked about can be by a wall, right? I should be by a wall. Good. Hands to hips. Engage your glutes. Just start by stepping back with your right foot and get your balance, right? Find your core, press back, engage your glute, and then see if you can come to the toe, because that's tricky. And all you're going to do is lift and drop right here. So flex and lift, point and drop. Lift and drop. And 3, and drop. And floor, floor, and down. Last one, lift and point. All right. And so then we come back to the other thing, that other thing we were doing. So your toes back. Your belly is toned, your chest is really tall. Your hips are working together here to bring that energy in. Lift and flex. Turn your toes out, slide it out, bring it down, bring it back out, point, stretch it back, and drop. That's 1. Lift, flex, and turn. Drop it down. Lift it back out. Point and tap. That's 2. These are taking a long time. Out, flex, over, down. Buddha's taking a beating over here with my elbow. And point and down. 2 more. Lift, flex, turn, tap it down, whoo, out, point, over, and down. Last one, hallelujah, right? Lift, flex, turn, bring it out, bring it down, bring it out, point it, drop it, and shake it out. Good. Just do a couple standing hip rolls. That'll help. Huh? Shake it out. There you go. Good. And then if you can, I want you to just find a good standing pose. Maybe you're at a wall here for this one. It probably would be appropriate. And then come into a standing figure 4. Woo. So already you might feel a stretch here. If you want, go ahead and bend the knees and just breathe. Stretch out that lovely little hip and then come up, shake that out. When you're ready, switch sides. Again, fingertips to a wall or a chair. Bend your knee. Find your still point. Always when we're playing with balance, find your still point. There's no still. Breathe. And come on up. Nice job, everybody. All right, front of your mat. How are we doing on time? Good. And just stand in mountain pose. In fact, take your feet wide on your mat. Bend your knees. Just come on down to a forward fold. You can use your blocks here if you'd like, or your hands are resting on the floor, just as long as you're not hanging. I see that a lot. I don't love it, where students will just hang in space. I think that's a lot, asking a lot for the back. But you can do it if you want. Just to breathe here. And maybe step your feet off your mat and go wide. And find your forward fold there. That's it. All right, so bring those feet back into hips width. Bend your knees, step back to downward facing dog. Lower your knees to the floor. Good. Come into half plank. Half plank. Tone that belly in. There's almost a little bit of a cat pose happening there. It's not really a rounding, but it's a toning in through your center. And breathe. 1, you're here. 2, lift the knees, full plank. Use your breath. 3, choice 3, lift one leg. Breathe, lower, lift the other leg. Lower, lift one hand, tap opposite shoulder. Lower, other hand, other shoulder. Lower. Lower your knees. And the little child's pose, just breathe, breathe. We're not done yet. We got more in us. We can do it. I love the breath for, it's like the great equalizer, right? If we will take the moment or two to take that deep breath, all of a sudden we feel the body starting to come back to a homeostasis, right? A centering, a balance. Excuse me. So just breathe. All right, so last in this little series here of this little hip work, you're gonna come back to table pose. Tone the belly in, press your right leg straight back. Make sure your legs are hips width apart. They're not too narrow, right? And then just a small kickstand of your left foot out to the side, just a little one. Tone the belly in, lift your leg just like we did before. Your toes are flexed, turn the leg out to the side. 1, you're gonna stay here, that's enough. 2, your left hand is forward but in line with your left shoulder, and you start to come to the fingertips of your right hand, and maybe your right hand comes to your hip. Good, breathe. Now you should feel that whole back body pretty fired up. I want you to turn the leg and tap the toe and lift up and flex. Turn it down and tap, lift it up and flex. Good, 3 more, down and up, down, squeeze it up, woo, down, lift up and hold. Lengthen your tailbone, take the top arm up, flex your foot, lengthen your tailbone, reach the crown of your head, maybe take that arm overhead, palm face down, breathe, point your toes. Woo, good. Slowly release it. Hand to the floor, turn your toes and hips back down and release your knee. And shake it out, everybody. Hip work, hip work. Come on up. All right, so when we're ready, we're reversing, right? So we're gonna step the left leg back and engage everything just like we normally do. Maybe a slight kickstand of your right foot out to the right. As you lift your left leg, you're gonna turn it to the side with both hands on the floor. Realign your right hand, and then maybe you come to the fingertips of your left as the hips open up. Maybe your hand comes to your hip. Good, you should feel that tailbone heading toward your heel. You're strong on your standing arm. And when you're ready, you're gonna turn the hip and tap your toe, and then flex and lift. And tap down, lift up, whew, tap down. Every time we move, right, we're already balancing, and then we're moving this lovely leg, and it makes it worse. Hold and flex. It doesn't make it worse. It makes it more challenging to balance. Still good, take the top arm up and breathe, tone the ribs in. Take the top arm over your ear and point your toes. Oh, such a good stretch. Breathe and then flex. Come on out. Slowly and slowly. And then very, very carefully, you can do this on elbows or on hands. I want you to shift the hips to one side and just kind of stretch. Watch the knees here. And then shift to the other side and stretch. Yep, just stretching them out. One more, both sides. Just letting them shift to one side and then shift to the other side. And then come on up and come on down. Actually, I don't want to forget. Grab both of your blocks. Now, you don't have to use blocks here. If you want, you can use a blanket in a nice little roll. The blocks are going to be about halfway down your mat. And then you're going to lay on the blocks so that that hip crease of yours is on the block. So you have a little bit of your upper thigh, a little bit of your pelvis on the blocks. Again, you can use a blanket, you can use a pillow. But find a spot where if you flexed your feet, your legs would be pretty much straight out, right? Straight out from there. So leave, and the other thing to watch here is that low back, right? If I do nothing, my low back is just gonna drop, my belly's gonna drop, I'll start to strain the back a little bit. So I'm gonna tuck in through the belly and lengthen the tailbone. Point your left foot. I'll do right foot so you can see if you're looking at the camera. Right foot first and just point those toes to the floor and breathe. Tone the belly in And you're just gazing in front of you. There's nothing much happening otherwise, right? You're going to lift the leg and tap down. Now, here's the secret, right? As you lift, don't drop your low back. And down. And lift up. And down. 2 more. Lift up. And down. 1 more. Lift and hold. Flex your foot. Bend your knee. Your knee is reaching up. The belly's toned in. Your tailbone is long. Straighten the leg. Point the toes. And lower down. Good. And then flex. Point the toes on the other foot. Tone the belly in. Make sure your pubic bone is pressing into your blocks. Lift and tap. So these subtle things, right, are engaging. There's 3 muscles of the gluteal muscles. There's 3 of them. And so we're just trying to tap in and work all 3 of them. And it is absolutely known that if you're not using your glute muscles when they should be used, you're going to use your lower backs. Okay. So lift and lower, lift and hold. Tone the belly in, keep the tailbone long, flex your foot, bend your knee, it's hovering. Ooh, breathe. Point your toes, straighten the leg, and lower down, lower your other toes. And you can just lower down over your blocks if it feels okay to you. Big deep breath. Just let your low back relax, let your belly relax, everything relaxes. Good. And then lengthen your tailbone so that you feel your hips kind of rolling back down those blocks a little bit. Come up to your elbows. Squeeze your belly in. Lift both knees off the floor. Bend one knee. See if you can lift the other knee. Yep, you got to use a lot of belly. Breathe. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower the knees. Relax your feet. Good. From here, lengthen your tailbone a bunch. Move that belly way away from the floor. Maybe you press into both hands and lift up. Probably my favorite way to do upward facing dog is on my little training wheels here. So you don't sit in your low back. Now, what do you do with your shoulders? Press them away from your ears. Open up your elbows. Your toes, your feet are flat. There you go. But your knees are off the floor if you want full upward facing dog. How does this feel to you? Right? The length of the tailbone, the length of the hips, the opening of your shoulders. And then lower down. Woo. We got 1 left. Come back to your elbows. Interlace your hands softly, elbows under shoulders. Flip your toes under, lift up, elbow plank. And breathe. Now, choice, and particularly, Toby, I'd be careful here. I want you to tip your left hip to the block and then straighten. Tip your right hip and straighten. Left, straighten. Right, whoo, and left, straight, right. We got 4 left. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Oh, lower your hips. Press back to child's pose. Oh, that was a tough one. And breathe. Just stretch out your back. Child's pose is awesome for stretching those long muscles of your back. So we breathe. We find that center again. All right, so from here, make your way onto your backs. But keep your legs bent so that you don't think it's Shavasana time. right? It's like, holy moly, that's a lot of work, but it's so good. And I know you are all working within. Good. Just breathe. Bring your left knee to your chest. Your right foot stays on the floor. Take your hands behind your knee. As you lift and straighten your leg, point your toes. As you bend the knee, flex your foot. Good. Lift and point. Exhale and flex. Good. 3 more. Point and flex and point and flex. Good. 1 more right here. Point and flex. And then put the left foot on the floor. Bring your right knee to your chest. Hands go behind your knee. As you straighten the leg, point your toes and flex and point. Good. Flex it in. 3 more. Point and flex. And notice, right, already the body is settling back down. All that hard work behind us. Point, flex. Last one. Point it up and flex it down. And then put that foot on the floor. Bring your left knee to your chest. If you can, you're going to take your left arm inside your left knee. You're either going to grab your foot or your shin, or you're going to use a strap around your foot to come into half happy baby. Right now, your right knee is still on the floor, or your right foot is still on the floor. So half happy baby, your left knee is heading toward your left shoulder. Your foot is straight across as if you were stepping on the ceiling. Your shin, ideally, your shin is parallel with the wall or straight up and down. If none of that works, don't worry about it. You can just bring your knee to your chest. So either stay here or slowly straighten your right leg. So half happy baby. We breathe in and we fill up the cup. We exhale and we let it all go. Right? The impermanence of everything. We bring it in, we let it go. Maybe you wiggle a little bit side to side. And remember, if you can't reach your foot easily, you can just hold your shin. You can even, and I forgot to say this, your elbow can go behind to the outside and behind your knee. That's a really nice option as well. And then either stay here or roll to the left until your left thigh comes close to or on the floor. When you do that, your right hip is going to lift off the floor. I can put my hand underneath my glute. There's space there. And we're stretching the right psoas, or the right front leg, as we're stretching the left hip. So half happy baby, just leaning off to your side. Deep breath. And bring that leg back to center. Bend your right leg and then release your left leg. Just straighten it all the way to the floor for a moment. Just give it a little rest. And then bend your left knee. Bring your right knee to your chest. Your arm goes to the inside and then goes to your foot or shin or your variation of it. And you just hold here for a moment and see how it is on this side. Just breathe. Life is good. Only if you want, straighten the left leg. Just notice. Maybe you rock a little side to side, just feeling out that hip, just noticing. And then only if you want, you lean toward the right, that right thigh heads closer to the floor, It doesn't have to go all the way. For a lot of us, it won't touch the floor. And then your left hip is just hanging, stretching out through the front of that left hip. Just breathe. And then relax as you bring that leg back to center. Bend your left knee. Release your right leg, straighten it all the way to the floor. Let it shake out. And then both knees to chest, both legs to happy baby. And again, lots of options here. Don't strain, don't overstrain the shoulders or the hips. You can hold on to the outsides of the feet. You can hold on to your big toes. You can just wrap the elbows from outside and hold the hands to the center. It's kind of nice to do it that way. So find the happy in happy baby. Find the happy in happy baby. Maybe you rock a little side to side. Maybe you remember a day when you could nibble on your toe before things started to fuse. Just breathe. And if you're rocking side to side, come to stillness. Bring the soles of your feet together and just hold on to the feet or the ankles. Your legs are still off the floor. We'll allow the knees to press away from you as you hold on to those feet or ankles. And then ever so slowly allow the feet to come to the floor. Still in Baddha Konasana, still in butterfly pose. Some people call it cobbler. Rock side to side. And then pause in the middle. Allow your hands to either rest on your inner thighs or on your belly. Try to relax your hips. On your next exhale, the knees come together. On the inhale, open them up. Just 5 gentle flutters here. In and out. And bring them in. And let them go. 2 more. Squeeze them in. And let them out. Good. Bring them in. Hold them in. Straighten one leg all the way down. Straighten the other leg all the way down. And let's find Shavasana. So in Shavasana, same as always, right? We move within and we keep the external things just as they are, right? If thoughts come in, we watch them flow in, flow out without energy or attention. And we bring our attention to our breath, the weight of our bodies on the floor, the balance of that cup as we breathe in and we breathe out. And as you move into your Shavasana, I want to read that quote one more time because I know at the beginning of class it can be kind of quick. And it says, yoga is not a workout, it is a work in. And this is the point of spiritual practice, to make us teachable, to open up our hearts and focus our awareness so that we can know what we already know and be who we already are. We allow that to sink in, to settle in. Feel your body soften even more. So, knowing that some of you would like to stay in Shavasana a whole bunch more, please stay there. Those of you who are ready can start to wiggle your toes and your fingers. Start to bend the knees and draw those knees to chest. Hugging them in tight. Rocking side to side. Rolling over to one side. And then very slowly pressing all the way back up to your seated pose.